We are coming to you from the city beautiful Chicago, Illinois, where tonight Comcast Sportsnet presents White Sox baseball. It's Paul Konerko, Adam Dunn, Alex Rios in the Sox as they get set to butt heads with Victor Martinez, Prince Fielder, and the Detroit Tigers. Hi, everybody, and welcome. With Steve Stone, I'm Ken Harrelson as we get set to bring you game 2 of this 4-game set. As you know, in the opener last night, we had 2 of the best pitchers, probably the best 2 pitchers in the American League going at one another. Scherzer goes out there, goes 8 innings, gives up 2 earned runs. Chris Sale goes out there, goes 8 innings, gives up 2 earned runs. We lose that ball game 7-3. We gave up 5 unearned runs in that ball game last night. But tonight, Cabrera is out, but there's a guy in that lineup who's been killing us.
Well, Miguel Cabrera not in the lineup is a big plus for who's ever playing him. And last night, he hurt a hip flexor. You can see it there. And it just kept on getting worse. So even though he tried to go out there after telling the trainer that he was good enough to play, as it turned out he wasn't. So he's listed as day-to-day, but with a hip flexor, and that's what the problem is. Who knows how long he's going to be out. That being said, Victor Martinez, unfortunately, is in there. And the reason I say unfortunately is he's 12 for 17 against our ball club this year. He's driven in 4 games, and last night he had a big 2-run single that helped make the difference in the game. And Martinez from both sides of the plate is just hitting everything in sight. So he has been the hottest of all of the Tigers.
And Robin's sending Santiago out there tonight.
Hector Santiago has been doing a whale of a job, but he's 3-5 this year, even though his ERA is in the 330s. Last time out, he was absolutely brilliant. He made one mistake to John Mayberry Jr., cost him a run, but that's the only run he gave up. So he handcuffed Philadelphia, threw the ball as well as he can throw it. And now he's trying to get the breaking ball over to go with that good screwball. On the other side of the field is Rick Porcello. That's the matchup tonight. And Porcello last time against the Sox threw the ball pretty well. The sinker sunk on occasion. But this is a guy whose ERA is up there close to 5. However, lifetime against our ball club, he's 6-5. This year, 6-6. If a sinker doesn't sink, he's very vulnerable.
All right, it's Italian Heritage Night here at the ballpark. So sit back, relax, and strap it down. White Sox baseball coming your way.
White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. And by Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com.
I want to run and play hide and seek. I want to go and bounce the moon.
Nick Pomparelli on Italian Heritage Night here at U.S. Cellular Field. That's before the ball game, and hopefully it bodes well for what's going to happen inside the ballpark tonight. So let's take a look at how Jim Leyland is going to line up his Detroit Tigers for the second game of a four-game series. Austin Jackson leading it off, and then it's Torrey Hunter, who had a pretty good run at it lately. Then Tuiasosopo, Fielder, Martinez, Peralta, Avila, Kelly, and Perez rounded out. The defense, and how they'll line up behind Hector Santiago. Viciedo, Diaz, and Rios in the outfield, with Gillespie, Ramirez, Keppinger, and Dunn in the infield. Josh Begley with the nod behind the plate. And our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Hector Santiago, looking for his fourth win in this, his 13th start. So they throw the ball around the infield. We're ready to play baseball, and I'm ready to throw it to my play-by-play partner, Ken Harrelson.
Hi, Stevie. Thank you very much. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. So happy you could join us for Game 2 of this four-game set. As our 25-year-old southpaw, Hector Santiago's first pitch of the ball game is taken for a strike. Austin Jackson hitting at .271, 5 homers, and 24 knocked in. Austin was 1 for 5 last night with a double. Checks it up. That one at 93. That evens the count. And here at the ballpark, 330 down the left field line, 335 down the right field line, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straightaway center. Tigers come in hitting at .280 as a club with a 3.82 ERA. Tigers 25 up, 25 down on the road this year.
Surprisingly, the Tigers are the only team at 500 on the road in the division. And they just got there with their win last night. So it is tough to win away from home, as Jim Leyland knows so very well.
Close pitch, didn't get it.
Threw a fastball, could have gone either way. It went Jackson's way.
Had a little shank in the right field, and that's going to fall. So a little duck snort right there by Austin Jackson.
The umpires for the game tonight. Just Conroy behind the plate. Gary Darling, the crew chief, is at first. Jerry Meals is at second, and Bruce Dreckman is at third. So an ominous way to start the first inning.
Here's a 38-year-old veteran, Torrey Hunter, hitting at .308, 8 homers, 46 knocked in. 2 for 5 last night with an opposite field homer. Jackson with a good lead. Good job by Fegley.
The only way you're going to take second base, and it's only an aggressive base runner, which Jackson is not, is as soon as this ball is in the dirt, you're going to have to take off. If you don't, you got no chance of making it. Josh Fegley does a nice job, keeps the ball in front of him. But an aggressive base stealer, as soon as he sees the ball in the dirt, he's gone to second. Jackson is not one of those guys. And this entire Detroit team is not an aggressive team on the base paths.
Hunter. Long look down to Tom Brookins. There's the strike. So it appears that very early in this ball game on just 8 pitches that Chris Conroy is going to give maybe the outside corner, but not the inside.
Well, that'll bode well for that screwball, because if they're aware of the outside pitch and have to protect, you can throw it a little bit further away.
That was one of the things the hitters in years past would do. They would go over the umpires in the pregame meeting, going over the pitcher and the umpires. Yeah, so they don't have that luxury.
No, you had them so many times that you got very familiar with their strike zones and knew it going into the ball game.
There he goes. He gone. Beautiful. Josh Fagan.
Josh got it down there so quickly that even though the throw was up, Ramirez had plenty of time to bring the tag down. And he's out by plenty. The call by Jerry Meals. Quick release.
And there is ball 4.
Puts the glove down. And it's easy.
So here is Tuiasa Sopo. Matt hitting at .319, 6 homers and 22 driven in. He was 1 for 4 last night. He's been a nice pickup for this ball club. And a platoon situation for left field with Andy Dirks, Tuiasa Sopo. Goes back to the Lowenstein and Renicky days of Baltimore.
There was a lot of production between those two fellows in left field. And when you sign a minor league free agent, you never know what you're going to get. But what the Tigers got is a guy that can hit left-handers very well. Surprising part about him in the lineup is that Andy Dirks is 2 for 3 lifetime against Santiago. And even though it's a platoon system, left-handers have had better luck against Santiago than right-handers.
Goes through that one. We talked about it last night. Left-handed pitching is very, very difficult. You get a right-handed hitter who has good success against left-handed pitching. I'm not going to say he's worth his weight in gold, but he's certainly worth his weight in $100 bills.
Well, it would be against our club. We got 4 of those left-handed starters.
Yeah. Just got a piece of it. So the count hangs at 1-2.
Chris Sale last night threw the ball pretty well. He fanned 11, gave up just 2 earned runs. Unfortunately, the defense let him down, and he came up second best to Max Scherzer. He didn't have his great stuff, but it shows you just how good he is, because of the night when he doesn't have his great stuff, still striking out 11 in 8 innings. That's awfully good.
And giving up only 2 earned runs against this ball club. Yeah.
Here's a head-to-head matchup, and they look very similar. Scherzer didn't walk anybody, but at the end of the day, the Tigers won the first game because they simply outplayed our boys just about in every category.
The 1-2. Screwball gave that one away. At least from up here. Again, sometimes we can see it up from up here when you can't see it from 60 feet away.
That's when you wanted to throw for a strike, because you had him looking away. You know, if you got it on the inside part of the plate, there's a good chance you're going to get him, and that ball was inside. So Manu has hit Santiago pretty well in the on-deck circle, and with the absence of Cabrera, Fielder becomes that much more prominent.
He gone. And they get him in the pickle. And we're running, get him going. There you go. Now put it on him. All right, Torrey. Now, what's he going to say?
He ran into a guy
grabbed
without the ball.
He grabbed it. What? What in the world are you doing, darling?
Torrey knows he probably got away with one here. Gary Darling has to say that Adam Dunn impeded his path to the bag. It's the only thing he can say.
Well, that's the only possible option, but let's get another look if we can see where Dunn is in relationship to the line. There's Adam.
I think because Adam moved to his right when Torrey was moving to his right, that's why Darling called it. But I think Torrey Hunter, by his expression, will tell you that he got away with one there.
Sure he did. Sure he did. That's BS.
Now Robin's going to get his money's worth.
That's BS. It is. These are times I wish I could cuss.
Well, we'll see if Hector can get by Fielder. And that's a pretty good angle. Maybe if Adam Dunn goes to his left instead of his right, they don't get the call. But normally you don't see that called with no contact.
No, you don't. How long has it been since you've seen that call?
Long time.
You better, if ever.
Long time.
If ever.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's... So here's Prince. Get back, get over it. Man, wow. Adam really going a long way off the bag there. Meanwhile, he gets out of it after happening a play. It's their guy's nothing, and our guy's coming.
Yazin, Ramirez, and Rios at the top with Dunn, Konerko, and Keppinger in the middle, and Gillespie, Viciedo, who this season against the Tigers has been awfully good, and Josh Begley. The defense and how they'll line up behind Rick Porcello. Tuiasosopo, Jackson, and Hunter in the outfield. with Kelly, Peralta, Perez, and Fielder in the infield. Alex Avila gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Rick Porcello. He's 6-6 with a high ERA. He's given up more hits than innings pitched, but a good walk to strikeout ratio, and left-handers have really hurt him, hitting .301.
And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours. So here's the odds at 275, 12 homers, 44 knocked in from the 24-year-old. 6'5", 200-pound right-hander Rick Porcello out of Califon, New Jersey. Alejandro 3 for 16 lifetime off Porcello. Sox come in hitting at .249 as a club with a 3.98 ERA. That ball hit into left center field. Keep on going, but you got a guy out there who can go get him.
If it stays in the ballpark, there's a very good chance that Austin Jackson is going to be able to run it down. And this ball was hit awfully hard, but not quite hard enough. It stayed up long enough for Jackson to get a good break on it. Used to those spacious dimensions in Comerica Park, he's able to run this one down easily.
Well, we saw him when we were there last time miss just 2 balls.
That was surprising. They were coming in.
Low line drives.
Yeah.
You don't see that from Austin Jackson. He is one of the better ones in the game. But they say that umpires, players, broadcasters at Comerica Park, especially in certain twilight or whatever, have trouble picking up the ball.
Could very well be coming out of the stands, certainly during day games, that happens, but he's one of the best around.
Softly hit, broken bat, 2 down. And right now, let's check out our Farmers Insurance picks to click tonight. Our graphic. There it is. All right. The manager of the crew went with Tank. Steve's going with Dunn. And Terry Hanley, Mike Williams, Eric Aldridge, Roger Clare. We're going to go with Paul Konerko. He's scoring along with us. They gave that an error to Adam Dunn.
Most baseball people will tell you they like to see their pitchers get anywhere from 400 to 600 minor league innings before they come to the major leagues. Rick Porcello got 125 innings.
Peralta can't get him, but beautiful effort right there by Johnny. He's only made 4 errors all year. He got terrific hands if he can get to it.
He doesn't have great range, but he doesn't make many mistakes.
No, he's a good one. If he gets to it, he's going to make the play.
They're not going to get Alex Rios from one knee at shortstop, but he made the big effort. Now they make the big shift.
Adam, 3 for 12, lifetime off Porcello with a homer. Takes down low.
Should be ready-made for Adam, even though he's hitting just .250 against him, because Porcello lives and dies with a sinker, and Adam's a good low ball hitter. So let's see if tonight's the night.
This is the 5th meeting of the year between these two clubs. First 4 we have split them. There he goes. He's safe. At a stolen base, number 21.
Avila's not been having the best year as far as throwing out base stealers. And Porcello doesn't use a slide step. He uses the high leg kick. It's not a good throw. Most people will tell you there are no outs on the third base side of second. And Rios was in easily.
So 1-1 to count with 2 down. Got it in on him just enough. One-two pitch. Blocked nicely by Alex.
Last 35 games, Adam has been just about as good as he can be average-wise. And you expect him to hit the ball out of the park and drive in runs, which is something he usually does.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Now they want to have a little meeting of the minds in front of the mound. Porcello 54-48 in his career. As I mentioned, he's going to be 25 till December. 1-0 this year against us, 6-5 lifetime.
Well, he was thinking about going to college, but when you get over $7 million to sign, it can change your mind in a hurry.
Close pitch. And a full count.
Our Menards pitch tracks show you that one was just borderline.
Ball 4 base hit right here, Adam. And there's ball 4. And here comes Paulie. Paulie 0 for 3 last night, making his first start since coming back from the DL. He has faced Porcello 29 times, has 11 hits, 10 of which stayed in the park.
Well, he gave Porcello 5 different sets of signs, and he decided that he didn't like any of them. Maybe it's because he's throwing to Paul Konerko, and he realizes that he hasn't been able to get this guy out too often.
And he starts him off down low. Well, it was I guess a big article. I didn't see it until yesterday in the Wall Street Journal about why it's taking baseball games so long to be completed. And there are different elements that go into that equation. But number one, with no doubt about it, is the umpires. The umpires are the only way you're going to speed up a baseball game on a consistent basis. They have to adhere to the rules that are in the rule book but are not adhered to.
Yeah, I don't think you can allow a pitcher to take 30 to 35 seconds between pitches and let hitters take walks outside of the batter's box too often.
2-1 the count. No, you got some notorious violators. You got guys taking over 40 seconds between pitches. And the commissioner did put in a mandate. I believe it was, 5 years ago, 6 years ago? 20 seconds. 12 with nobody on base.
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often.
No. The umpires abided by that for a couple of weeks, and then, poof, that was it.
Well, the combination between Paul Konerko getting set and Porcello delivering the baseball was 40 seconds that time.
Well, in that article, the author blamed me as being one of the culprits.
And why this time?
Why this time?
Why this time?
It's somebody every time. Because I started the batting glove, and then Vin Scully says they asked him what he thought, and he said, I think it's the Velcro. Guys second out and restrapping their gloves on, and that I had started them. There's a strike.
This is actually a pretty decent pitch. You'll see where it appears on the Menards pitch tracks, lower part of the zone. Even though it was caught down by Avila, it did come over a strike. And now the advantage is the runners will be running.
But I didn't have batting gloves. I had a golf glove. I didn't have any Velcro.
There was no Velcro. No Velcro.
And there's ball 4. That'll load him up. So they're making him work. Tracks packed. And here comes Jeff Jones. No, but they had in there, you can blame Harrelson, and you can blame La Russa. You can blame the pitch changes, which is legitimate. There's no question about that. But in my time zone, the games were average, I think, 2 hours and 25 minutes. But you might only have one pitch change. Sometimes not.
And also between innings, obviously there wasn't as many commercials, and
right.
There's a lot of things.
The length of commercials
that has to do with it. Yes. But with Jeff Jones going to the mound, talking with Porcello, I think one of the things that they probably have to limit, and there's certain catchers that do this more than others. I think there should be not an infinite amount of times a catcher can go and confer with his pitcher. We've seen a lot of catchers go out 9, 10, 11 times to talk with the same pitcher at various times during the course of his performance. That in itself.
Well, one of the great catchers in baseball is notorious at that.
Joe Mauer is one of those guys. Yeah, he'll spend a lot of time out there talking with his pitcher.
I thought Dustin Pedroia had a good answer. He said, what's everybody complaining about? He said, people pay to come see a baseball game. They're getting more baseball.
Well, they are getting that. They're getting a lot of baseball. And Dustin Pedroia, congratulations to him, just signed a 7-year contract with $100 million.
Good for him. He deserves every penny of it. And there's ball 2. Well, you and I have talked about it before. The cheapest player that a team has is the guy who makes the most money if he earns it.
And he certainly earns it. And then some. And by the way, that last pitch was a big break for Keppinger because it had the entire strike zone.
It's the guys who are making in between that and don't earn it.
Here's our AT&T U-verse multi-view. Good speed at third.
There's the strike.
This one did have the zone. Menard's pitch tracks. We'll show you 2 pitches have been in the zone, 2 have not. But it is a 3-1 count. Advantage Keppinger.
Softly hit to Hopper. Kelly. So we have him on the ropes. Can't do anything with him, and after 1, no score. About our skipper, Robin Ventura.
Yeah, you know, there's been a lot of talk. Obviously, we talked to him today specifically about the challenges of this season versus last year. When you're a winning club, you know, I saw Ozzie Guillen at the All-Star game last week, and he said, when you're on a winning club, you really don't know much about your manager. It's when the team is losing you find out about the manager. And Ozzie actually was applauding the job that Robin's done, and there's been a lot of talk like that. I talked to Davey Johnson at the All-Star game and said the same thing. Jim Leland yesterday had some really nice things to say about him. And so we asked Robin today just about the difference in challenges and the fact that, you know, last night he and Chris Sale had it out a little bit over the intentional walk to Miguel Cabrera. He pulled Alex Rios from the game last week for the not running it out. And it's definitely been a different year, but he said he's learned a ton from it. And that's a good sign moving forward, because there's been far more adversity with injuries, with players not, you know, performing this year than there was in his first season.
Well, from our standpoint, I'll tell you, especially from mine, he's been unbelievably calm and serene during the season. This is the worst first half of any White Sox team I have ever been associated with, and almost with the exception of pitching. In every other category, I mean, not one category. This is the worst one I've ever been associated with as far as execution goes.
And Leland actually mentioned that.
What new? Get it. Yes, all right. Victor Martinez, who has just been wearing us out. He was 4 for 5 last night. That's out number 1.
Last night, Leland actually went out of his way to say Robin's not excitable. Obviously, we saw him a little excited there in the first inning, but he's not an excitable person, that he knows how to manage his players, and he got a really good sense from working with him last week, and thinks he's going to be an excellent manager just because of the way he knows how to handle the situation.
There's another factor, and that was the handling of Chris Sale last night when Robin decided that he wanted to walk Cabrera. Look, Sale's a competitor, and he might have wanted to pitch to him, but the fact is, when you get a chance, you have to pitch around Cabrera. So he made the call. Chris Sale wasn't happy with it, but what Chris Sale's going to have to understand, and again, he's a young pitcher. This is the infancy stages of his career. He's going to understand that the manager is the boss, and what Robin does is for the good of the Chicago White Sox, not necessarily first the good of Chris Sale. He felt the proper move was to walk Cabrera. It was the proper move. Now, Chris let that bother him, and he walked Fielder on 4 pitches. Then it was Martinez who got the base hit. Robin made the right move. Chris Sale just didn't understand it, I don't think.
Well, everything you said is true. But I applaud Chris Sale for being upset.
Oh, I mean, he's a competitor.
Exactly right.
He wanted to face him.
And Robin he likes that about him. But he made it clear it's for the good of the White Sox, as you were saying, Steve. And, Chris Sale today felt a little embarrassed about what happened. I mean, he knows that is the step he needs to take. He is a great pitcher. He's been fantastic these 2 years. That's probably the next step in his development to being an elite pitcher.
I'll tell you another area too, Danny, as you well know, because you see it like Steve and I every day. I am applauding our coaching staff for keeping their cool, because we've got some high-profile tempers down there in that coaching staff, and they've taken Robin's lead. They've kept their cool, and they have worked their behinds off trying to get our club out of this malaise that we've been in.
And it's tireless, and hey, they're doing exactly what they need to do, and we've seen it all season with the extra practices here and there. They'll take a guy out of the game if he needs to come out of the game, and I think that I'd seen some points where Robin hadn't done that before, that he's starting to do that now, but they haven't dealt with this situation before now, and it was a good message to send on the first day of the second half on what could be a very long second half.
Nice work, buddy. Dan Hayes from CSNChicago.com after an inning and a half, no score. And Sox fans, now is the chance to tell us what you think and win an autographed White Sox jersey in the process. Simply visit whitesox.com/survey during tonight's game and provide us with your feedback. In doing so, you'll be entered for the chance to win an autographed Gordon Beckham jersey. So visit whitesox.com/survey and do it right now.
We caught a break. The fact that 64 degrees because last night, for instance, that Victor Martinez shot would have gone out of the ballpark because of the colder temperatures, unseasonably cool for this time of year. Victor's stayed in the park because that was crushed.
Well, that ball last night would have been a quarter of the way up the bleachers.
He hit the taillights out of it.
Also a big White Sox shout out to John Vincent, who once again did such a tremendous job on our national anthem. You can hear John occasionally down at Ditka's. Big man with a big voice. And count 2-0. To Gillespie hitting at .249, 8 homers, 24 knocked in.
Porcello really struggled with his control in the first inning, and he hasn't started this one out any better.
A little soft pop up. One out. That'll bring up Viciedo. Tank it. .240, 8 homers, 30 knocked in. No, but you know what you said was perfect about Chris, and you put it in sequence. But I love guys with that kind of fire inside. I love them. You know, it's like when Jake and AJ went at it in the dugout. You know, and if a situation was with him, then he would have a little something to say about, I didn't want to walk Steve Stone, or I didn't want to walk whoever. You know,
I mean, the manager takes a look at a situation, makes the
perfect
call
move
that's appropriate for that situation.
It was a perfect move by Robin. There's only two ways, as we've discussed it. There's only two ways. That's down softly to third. Low throw, nice pick by Prince. He got the easy bounce right there. But there's only two ways to handle Miguel Cabrera, and that's you either put him on with 4 like they did, or you got to bust him inside underneath his hands, and then you're taking a chance.
Yeah, because if you don't get it there, then he's really going to hurt you.
He's going to kill you.
And there he is. He was walking around the clubhouse today. He was walking okay, but you never really know with a hip flexor because that gives you the acceleration to either side. And to play third base, you don't have to be fast, but you have to have great first step acceleration. So if he's lost for any length of time, that is a huge loss. And as you can see, he is busy aggravating his teammates. They're probably anxious for him to get back in the game.
Who is that, Rondon? He has fun, though. I love to watch him play. Two of my favorite guys to watch are he and Prince. I mean, they bust their behinds. They have fun.
Every day.
That kind of attitude was much more prevalent, 20, 30, 40, even 50 years ago.
That's one of the things that you learn very early when the camera is on. You also learn not to eat too many Fig Newtons.
And that's all. Boy, there's 3 softly hit balls off Rick Porcello, and we're into the third.
'13 Blackhawks convention live on Comcast Sportsnet. See Taves, Kane, and of course Lord Stanley as a team reunites at the Hilton Chicago. We'll have all the action live Friday night at 5 on Comcast Sportsnet and streaming live on csnchicago.com. Didn't this season just end?
Yeah.
It's back again for the convention. I did run into John McDonough today and
you
congratulated him, and he was looking resplendent, just came out having a few of his hairs cut, not all of them, but he looks great.
That's cold.
He looks, well, you got to be careful, where you're moving it, but he's going to have his day coming up with the cup, and he was just as excited as he was the first time around. What a great executive John is, and what a job he's done for the Blackhawks and reinvigorating that feeling in Chicago toward that whole organization, along with Rocky Wirtz, they've just done a great job.
It's been one of those situations that you had to see it to believe it.
Yeah. Complete and quick turnaround.
There's a strike. Kelly hitting at 246, 4 homers, 13 knocked in. You know, I tell some people when they ask me about the power of Jim Rice hitting a golf ball, they've read magazines that I've been quoted in. He's one of those guys you had to see it to believe it. And there's ball 4, so dreaded leadoff walk. Well, that job that John and Rocky have done with the Blackhawks is in the same category. Just couldn't be here for 2 or 3 years, moved to Chicago for 2 or 3 years, and get the gravity of what happened.
No. Not from what it was to what it is. And Hector's very upset with himself over that leadoff walk to Kelly. But now you got to get your composure back, and that's one of the things that young pitchers have problems with. It's concentration. Keep that same focus he's had through the first 2. Four straight no decisions, thrown well enough certainly in those no decisions. ERA a touch over 4. Now this is where, and I'm happy that Josh is going out there, because I was about to say this is where a veteran catcher goes out thinking perhaps his young pitcher might have lost his concentration with that walk to Kelly. And here's Josh, just up from the minor leagues, and he realizes that he's got to get his young pitcher back on track, because there's a lot of thunder coming up after Perez, and you can't afford to make a mistake or to walk him.
That's out of play, right side.
Austin Jackson with the only Tiger hit that leading off the ball game. He was cut down stealing by Fegley.
Fakes the bunt, takes the ball. Perez just 22 years old, 0 for 3 last evening. Yankees taking on the Rangers down in Texas. New York leading 2-0, bottom of the 3rd. Italian Heritage Night here at the Yard.
Kelly was able to read that move coming over there and got back easily. That means you can take an extra step on the lead.
And the count evens at 2. We got Italian Heritage Nights this evening, and tomorrow night will be Greek Heritage Festival.
They going to send up some food to the booth?
Yes,
I do.
Our beautiful Greek wife will be here as
Greek
well.
Food.
Oh boy. Vasilios still process. Going to bring us up some lamb. And there's a shank. That's amazing, you know. Being a converted Greek Orthodox, as we travel around, I always try to find out a good Greek restaurant in the cities. And it's amazing how many great Greek restaurants we have here in Chicago. and how few there are around the American League. And now it's getting to be around the National League because of interleague play.
Well, there's a lot of them here.
Oh, boy. Greek Islands is... When Pinella was managing, after every game, that's where we used to go over there, and they'd bring us out a big plate of lamb chops. Full count. Alex, watch out, buddy. Oh, nice. Nice awareness right there.
Time now for the Avis Super Slow-Mo replay, and this ball slicing away from Rios. He knows he's crossing the line, and he knows he's got about another step before he hits those seats. Keeps his concentration, secures the baseball, and retires Perez. And at a 3-2 count, that is a big out. And now one of the things that Hector has got to do, again, he has slowed it down to a crawl also. So he's got to speed it back up again and get his rhythm. He does not have his rhythm right now.
In Philly, he had it.
Yep.
I mean, he was getting it and throwing it, getting it and throwing it, getting it and throwing it.
They made the one mistake on the rolling breaking ball to John Mayberry Jr. Other than that, he was untouchable.
Austin Jackson had a little duck snort.
About to deliver pitch number 41. With only one out here in the third, so pitches starting to pile up a bit.
He has a tendency a lot of times when he throws that screwball that he throws across his body a little more, which is, if the hitter notices that, will be a tell.
Well, the interesting part, he throws it a little differently than most. I remember talking with the Hall of Famer Juan Marichal. I came to the Giants. He was there. And he told me that he threw his by rolling his shoulder over, which is the way most screwball pitchers do it. Hector throws it almost short-arming it and rolls the wrist over, which is a completely different delivery. And consistency has been a bit of a problem. If he gets the consistency, it'll be a good pitch. And talking with Don Cooper before the game, what he'd like to see him do is throw some slow breaking balls to go with it, so that he's got one that breaks into the hitter off speed, and then one that will break away from the right-hand hitter off speed.
Boy, they are taking a lot of time. He gone. Well, I think the best screwball from a starter that I ever just take another look at it that I had to face was Mike Cuellar. Two-time 20-game winner for the Orioles. He had a great one.
That was from a starter.
From a starter.
From a reliever. Mike Marshall was as good as you'll see.
Well, I'll tell you, going back before Marshall, there was a right-hander named Ray Moore that had an outstanding screwball. I think Ray, when I faced him, he was with Minnesota, but I believe he was also with the White Sox. Torrey fouls that one out of play.
He came over, signed a 2-year deal with the Tigers, certainly providing some leadership. Begley going out to talk it over with Santiago again.
Yeah, Ray Moore pitched for the White Sox, 58, 59, and 60. Two out, 1-1 to count. He has the soap on deck. Torrey, who walked his first trip.
Some pretty good career numbers, over 300 home runs, knocking at the door at 1,200 runs batted in.
He's been a terrific asset.
And he was a winning player with Minnesota.
Yeah.
Had a great year last year with the Angels.
I couldn't stand him. That for me, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
That's a compliment coming from me, because when I don't like somebody, that means they're beating us. And Torrey did a pretty good job. I couldn't stand it.
He could do that.
And then Kenny asked me one time, he said, "What do you think about acquiring Torrey Hunter?" I said, "Get him." And he tried. The Angels came in and overwhelmed him. Meanwhile, we'll go to the bottom of the third. And we'll read one back later in the game, and it just might be yours. No score, bottom of the third. And for our guys, it'll be back to the top of the order. And Paulie, even though he's hitting fifth once again out there, trying to size up Porcello a little bit. So Diaz will lead it off.
He's going to take a look at Don Kelly at third base. You'll see that he's off the line and just at the cut of the grass, but he'll be coming in with the pitch, I believe.
Alejandro went deep into left center field. There's the punt. Kelly's got to make a good throw, and it's can't. So that'll be a base hit. Perfect bunt.
He put it down on the grass. He noticed that Kelly was not playing in as far as he should have been and took advantage of it. For a good bunter, the cut of the grass is not close enough. Even though he was moving in a touch, he's able to beat the play.
There's a play that Robin was just superb on. Ventura, wow.
He became just a great third baseman.
He was shaky when we first got him. Real shaky defensively, and boy, he became just a terrific third baseman. So here's Alexei. Too much time.
Robin was a better hitter. How did he rank defensively with Joe Creedy?
Hitting?
No, as a fielder at third.
I tell you, Grady caught him. Grady caught him at the end before his back went bad. Grady was equal to Robin defensively, but not offensively. Robin was one of the best clutch hitters. Well, certainly the last 30 years in White Sox history. And I'm talking about against good pitching.
Yeah, those guys that make their money hitting the 1, 2, and 3 starters and the premier setup men and closers, those guys are worth their weight in gold, because there's a lot of guys can hit the 4s and 5s in the middle relievers.
Right. And that's where the majority of the big numbers, come from.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize. They look at the guy and what he hits. They'll say, okay, this guy can hit because he's hitting 280, 285. But then you break down the number 1 guys, the number 2 guys in a rotation, the closers, and find out if they can hit those guys.
Yeah, a lot of guys make their living off those 4s and 5s in the middle relievers.
And they can make a whole lot of
And make a ton of money. Sure. There he goes. And that's foul. And talking about Robin defensively on a play similar.
Pretty good play at the other end at first base also.
Yeah.
But Robin flying in the air. What a good pick by Greg Norton.
Yeah, a guy the other day said that he saw Greg Norton not too long ago. He's living, I believe, out in Seattle area. I liked Greg. He was a good guy. We've had a lot of good guys. It's been one of the criteria. We have not had too many bad guys, so to speak.
That ball just missed off the outside corner. So the count goes to 2-2. Twice hit and run was tried. Twice Lexi has fouled it off. Let's see if they'll send Diaza here.
Watch out. Got it. So 1 out.
Oh, this happens a lot. And it wasn't like he broke badly. He just didn't get back to the base in time. As Porcello did not come to a stretch, just threw it before he went into a stretch position and picked him off.
They got him. Yeah, we talked about it the other day. We probably this year have played an average of 4.5 to 5, maybe 5.5 outs, fewer outs than our opposition.
It's very difficult to score a whole lot of runs if you're consistently getting taken off the bases, because there's very few innings where you're going to get 4 hits. It doesn't happen all that much.
No, especially when your offense is struggling. It has been. He got a rolling curveball up there, almost like a hanger. Couldn't pull the trigger.
He buckles his knees. That ball looks to be in the zone, but came over the plate, probably out of the zone.
That ball hit hard. Little pause by Austin, and no problem. A reminder, great seats are still available for the season. Prices have been greatly reduced for all games, and the schedule is full of great matchups, promotional nights, and post-game fireworks. Tickets for all games remaining Monday through Saturday. Games start as low as $7, and Sundays start at only $5. So purchase your tickets today, whitesox.com or 866-SOX-GAME. First pitch strike to Rios.
Probably the best slider that Porcello's thrown tonight. And he threw it on the first pitch. Took a little something off. That was 5 miles an hour difference. So 2 very good pitches to Rios. He's had a hard time with Porcello over the course of his career, but not in the first inning.
Alex, one of only 5 Sox hitters in history to have a 6-hit, 9-inning game. July 9th. Two and two. Kelly with a nice layout. So we get the leadoff man aboard. He gets picked off. We're into the 4th. No score.
Cool Ranch Doritos, Locos Tacos from Taco Bell, Live Mas.
No score. Top of the 4th inning. They have 1 hit. We have 2 hits. Tuiasosopo struck out his first trip. He'll be followed by Fielder and then Victor Martinez.
Few Tigers fans have made the trip.
A lot of Tiger fans.
Yeah, it's not a very long trip. And their team, not as hot as they could be. Maybe not as hot as they should be. And I think the question that they're asking is, will they shore up the bullpen?
That is the question.
Yep. They did pick up a full game on the Indians as the Indians lost. Detroit won last night.
With the help of 5 unearned runs that we gave them.
Yep, and there are the standings as we speak. The Royals will come in for a 3-game series following the Tigers. Indians 3 games back in the loss column, 2.5 overall.
Off the end of the bat, knocked down, picked up, and bobbled.
If he just picks it up once, he's got him, because Tuiasosopo doesn't have great speed. So this bounces up, then he can't get it, and then he drops it, and no chance. So it is the 2nd error of the night, the 5th of the last game and a half.
They have 66 errors. Tigers have 47.
And the Tigers are all together. They don't have a lot of range in their infield, but normally if they get to it, they'll make the play.
Prince bounced out 4-1 his first trip. Love watching this guy play. Ian Cabrera. Boy, they play hard. They have fun. And they're pretty good at what they do. That's into left center. And our White Sox and Athletico Physical Therapy both understand the importance of injury prevention in players and fans' daily activities. So visit athletico.com/blog for injury prevention tips. Athletico Physical Therapy, the official physical therapy provider of our White Sox. Athletico, better for everybody.
Well, the Dodgers decided they would call up Carlos Marmol today. So they activated him. He is in his 2nd inning of work north of the border. He's given up 4 hits and 3 earned runs. So it has not worked out well in his first outing as a Dodger.
You know, I mentioned we have 66 errors here on July 23rd. We had 70 all last year.
And last year was one of those enchanted years defensively. I mean, you give up 30 unearned runs all year. It's a combination, obviously, of pretty good fielding, but also of pitchers concentrating and making sure they pitch over those errors. This year it just hasn't happened.
Well, last year, even though we had the lead on September 18th, it was still a terrific season. We spit it out. There's no doubt about that. That's not an issue. We just spit it out. So they wound up beating us by 3 games. But it was a fun year. It was a terrific year. And very optimistic year as far as leading into 2013.
A lot of things went right. In Robin's first season, he showed that he was ready to be a major league manager. And you really didn't know until he went through it, and he went through it in the heat of a pennant race. So that worked out exceptionally well. And being in it as long as his team was in it, and in first place as long as they were in first place.
That's hit by Martinez. Just continues to square it up. So when we make errors, the other team takes advantage of it.
Well,
when they make errors, we don't.
Victor now is 13 for 19. This is a screwball. It's way out of the strike zone, but when you're swinging the bat as well as he's swinging it, you just seem to hit it in a spot where the fielder does not happen to be. And the first time up, he hit it as hard as you could hit it. Surprisingly, did not go out of the ballpark that time, taking it down the line for a double. So his average for the year against our club actually has gone down with his 1 for 2.
4 for 5 last night with 3 RBIs, and here's Peralta. So Ducks on the pond, 1 out. Peralta hit a little looper to second base. Takes ball 1. You got Avila, who's really been struggling on deck, but Hector's been having trouble throwing strikes.
And with runners in scoring position, Johnny Peralta has been one of the best of the Tigers.
And there's the base hit. Screwball. 1 scores, and it's 1-0 Detroit. Another unearned run.
RBI 47 for Peralta, so he continues his onslaught with runners in scoring position. He just reaches out. This is a pretty good pitch again, but he puts it in a good spot. Threads the needle between Gillespie and Ramirez. Leading runners at the corner.
Well, you give the Tigers, Cleveland, Kansas City, Valdosta State, Northwestern, 4 and 5 outs an inning, and you're going to get beat.
Even without Cabrera in the lineup, there's still a lot of thunder in this Tiger lineup.
Want to know the count to Alex, who struck out. And the Tigers have now scored 8 runs so far in this series, 6 of them unearned.
Vila does have 2 sacrifice flies this year.
Three and 0. Three and 1. Kelly on deck. Hernan Perez in the hole.
Vila's grounded into 7 double plays. Santiago would love to throw an 8th. And Don Cooper will take that slow trip to the mound as the Tigers have loaded him up for Don Kelly.
Kelly walked leading off last inning. And while they do, we'll check a few scores for you. Bottom of the 4th in Kansas City, Royals leading Baltimore 3-1. After 7 in San Francisco, 9-2 Cincinnati. Bottom of the 8th in Washington, 5-1 Pittsburgh. Top of the 7th in Canada, 8-3 Toronto over the Dodgers. Mets leading Atlanta 4-1 top of the 7th at Citi Field. Red Sox leading Tampa Bay 3-2 top of the 7th at Fenway. Yankees now leading 3-0 over Texas, bottom of the 4th in Arlington. So sacks packed with bad guys, 1 out. And the first pitch to Kelly.
That one could have gone Santiago's way. It didn't. Not much speed on the bases for the Tigers, but overall they don't have much team speed.
He got a good pitch to hit. He put a good rip on it. And thank goodness fouled it back. This guy's been a good player for him.
He can play just about anywhere.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, occasionally he comes up with a big hit.
This will not be a particularly long outing for Santiago one way or the other, as he's thrown a whole lot of pitches early in this one.
Three and one to count. Kelly has played first, second, third, center, left, and right this year. And it's 2-0.
Pitches weren't all that close as Kelly drives in his 14th run the quiet way with a walk.
So here is Perez. He fouled out. A good catch by Rios last inning.
And the bullpen up and going. And it's Dylan Axelrod.
Four walks issued by Hector. That has popped up into right center field. Peralta does not have good speed. He's going to try. Here's the throw all the way. Short hops it. And it's 3-0.
It's going to be an error on Rios because the short hop throw, it allowed Kelly to move into second base because he's not going to be at second if the ball doesn't get away. So it is sacrifice fly. Second run batted in by Perez, the third error of the night, the sixth in the last two nights.
So the 3 runs scored here, one of them is earned. Austin Jackson, a single and a strikeout. Takes first pitch strike. 3-3-0 for them. 0-2-3 for us.
Nice line.
Jeez. Watch out, Tom Brookins. There he is. Tommy was a good third baseman. He could pick it.
He was Brandon Inge before Brandon Inge.
Yeah.
Same type
good
of
call.
player.
Yeah, good call. Miller. He gone. 3 runs across the plate, 2 unearned. They lead at 3-0. stats, tweets with Sox in game live only at csnchicago.com. Brought to you by Comcast Business Class. Bottom of the fourth. Let's try to get some of these back, boys. We just gave them 2 of the 3 they scored. It'll be Dunn, Konerko, Cappinger. We had this guy on the ropes in the first inning and let him off. After 2 were out, had a little infield single by Rios, stolen base. Then he walked Dunn, then he walked Konerko. We had the bases loaded. And he was having trouble throwing strikes.
And a 3-0 count on Cappinger.
And he had a little soft ground ball to third for a 5-4 fielder's choice. First pitch strike.
Perez is way back there on the grass. And with nobody on, they can employ the radical shift.
Count evens at 1. Tomorrow night it'll be Johnny Danks against Anibal Sanchez. So make your plans to be with us. If you can't, it'll be right here on Comcast Sportsnet. A little nubber.
Good changeup by Porcello. And had him well out in front of it. There's Johnny Danks. Gavin Floyd recovering from his surgery on the bench.
And recovering very nicely, knock on wood. So here's Paulie. Paulie walked his first trip. That Thursday game in the finale, Jake Meister against Verlander. And that's an afternoon game. That's a 1:10 start. There will be a lot of scouts, fannies, and a lot of scout seats for that one. And a reminder, join us for our Gulo Sox Festival on the Plaza, presented by the good folks at Pepsi on Saturday, July 27th. Located at Gate 5, our Gulo Sox features Latin music performances before the game and other activities for fans of all ages. Specially priced lower level tickets are as low as $14. So visit whitesox.com/Orgulo to purchase today. Pepsi, live for now.
We've got a little more than a week until the trading deadline. That's without having to clear waivers. And so a lot of teams still deciding if they believe they're going to be in it or not.
Look at this by Perez. That's a big league play right there, fans. 1, 2, 3 inning, and we're into the 5th. 3-3-0 for them. 0-2-3 for us. Hunter, Tuiasosopo, and Fielder.
Right through the heart of the order for Hector.
That's a little can of corn out there, and 2. Left field, 1 out.
Now we've got another. Well, let's look at Xfinity first. It's our high-speed action replay, and it's just an outstanding effort as Perez moves to his right, the one-hop throw. He's a lifetime shortstop, playing second base out of necessity. This is just an outstanding effort, and he's got a big arm as he throws from his knees.
And that's a Gordon Beckham play right there.
Did a great job, and Gordon also was a lifetime shortstop until shifting to second. But we've got another wild card now. That means that one more team gets in. One more team has to decide if they want to make a trade. Do you think they should move the trading deadline back and give more teams a chance to definitively know if they're going to be sellers or buyers?
I'll respond to that this way. You are more familiar with that situation than I am. What do you think?
Well, I looked at his strikeout, and I wouldn't mind seeing it move back perhaps a week. The reason being that you do have one more team in, and trades to an also-ran team are pretty important. When you're building, and you can get the excitement of acquiring 3 or 4 players from another team, that adds some excitement. And for the fans of a team that is going to finish up the track, before your youngsters come up in September, before the rosters expand, it gets a little difficult. But if you can talk about 3 or 4 guys you might have gotten from a very deep organization for one of the guys you have to trade, I think that's for the good of the game. Now, they haven't moved to move the deadline yet. Been July 31st for a while. I don't see any reason not to move it back.
That's well put. Sounds very doable on all points for teams that are not going to be in postseason play.
Right.
To have the idea of 1 or 2, maybe even 3 young prospects that they don't know anything about.
Because there's some guys that just are not going to clear waivers. So if you don't trade them by the deadline, you can't trade them.
1-2 the count to Prince.
Take a look at Jesse Crane. If he comes back, shows that he's healthy enough, he would never clear waivers. So you have to trade him beforehand, and he threw today. We hope that he is healthy and comes back, and we believe he will.
Jesse will be fine.
And if that's the case, well, he had the same thing last year, and it worked out very well for him, so there's no structural damage, and that's good. And for a team that's looking for somebody to put him over the top, a team that wants a guy that when he's right, and he's right most of the time, you can't hit, Jesse is your guy. He's got some tremendous value.
Well, the 2 best chips we have are Jesse and Jake.
Yep.
That ball hit deep into center field. Way back. And that cat was kept. Look at Prince. That ball last night would have been up in the ivy out there. Meanwhile, that's a hang whoop 'em, and we're halfway home trailing 3-0.
Yeah, congrats for sticking around, Art Chuck.
That's cool. Here's Gillespie. He popped up to his counterpart, Don Kelly at third. First ball hunting, and another good play by Perez. And fielder made the right move there as he gets back in. Prince made exactly the move he should have made.
Well, when you're on a team that is in first place, the last thing you want to do is put your arm out. You know that you've already lost one of your big guys. There's no reason to get run over at first base on a play that far off the bag. So he's got a pretty good idea Vila's going to be backing him up. It goes as a base hit, and Gillespie at first.
Especially when your back is to him.
Yeah. Some guys that will run right up your back.
So here's Viciedo. He grounded out to third. Yeah, when Cabrera's sitting over there with a bad flexor, you get a chance to get hurt right there.
Yeah, you know you're going to be the guy, and you don't know how long it's going to be, although they list Cabrera as day to day.
One-0 pitch to Viciedo. That's something when you got a guy like Cabrera where they have gotten this one 63 games left. And he's the odds-on favorite to repeat as a Triple Crown winner.
Let's take a look at some numbers from Cabrera this year. First in average, second in home runs, second in runs batted in. Davis just passed him. First in hits, runs, walks, on base percentage, second in slugging. An average with runners in scoring position, that's an otherworldly 439. So it does go to show you that when you get a chance to pitch around him, even though fielder is very good, you pitch around him.
Yes.
439 with runners in scoring position. Not as big a number as you'll see from anybody, anywhere, at any time.
There's no doubt about not going around him. And watch out. Rack him up. 2 down. We get 2 on, nobody out. Quickly 2 gone. And I love Prince Fielder. He's a hell of a hitter. And on the other side of the page, he has offered Cabrera, especially with Martinez backing him up, the best by far protection he's ever had.
Yeah, there's no doubt. But you know, you don't have the luxury of pitching around 2 guys in the same lineup, but you do start every game with the idea that there's one guy who absolutely is not going to beat you, which is surprising when you look at the numbers, how many people do pitch to Cabrera, and then he just beats you. I mean, it's no ifs, ands, or buts. He's the guy that beats you.
Yaza. And there's another thing that Josh is Josh has good baseball IQ, but he's going to have to learn that too. In that situation right here, you're down 3-0. You got a man on first and second, nobody out. You got a sinker ball pitcher out there. First pitch, he hits into the double play. That's when you'll learn that that's the one pitch that you're not going to hit on first pitch. Meanwhile, we get the first 2 on, can't do anything with it. We still trail it 3-0. Ryan Braun has been suspended for the remainder of the season by Major League Baseball for violating the basic agreement in its joint drug prevention and treatment program. We now want to bring in our Chuck, Bill Melton, and the Big Hurt Frank Thomas from our downtown studios for discussion on this topic. And Hurt, what are your thoughts on the league's decision to suspend Braun? Billy, I'm with you 100% on everything you just said right there. The two issues with me right now are that I'm tired of talking about it, and it seems like every passing, a few months it goes by, my respect and esteem, as much as I love him, goes even up more for the Big Hurt and the way he played this game.
Well, Frank, I think one of the reasons why they made the deal is simply that they didn't want him to appeal it, and it sends a message that they have some overwhelming proof against a whole lot of these guys, and if you accept the particular suspension, in this case for the rest of the season with no pay at all, that it's going to, along with the Players Association finally saying that we're not going to back players that are guilty of using performance-enhancing drugs. I think you can get this over with, get it cleaned up without all of the appeals process that you normally would go through, because it could take a long time if the players would fight it individually. Yeah, it goes up a lot. No, but Chuck, that creates a problem. And the problem is simply this. If you take a really good player that gets caught and you say that his contract is null and void, that means that he becomes a free agent. And you know in this game that performance is everything. If you're allowed to come back, regardless of how long the suspension is, if you're a very young man, the team that had the rights to you for X number of years suddenly doesn't. That creates a bit of a problem if you're going to be a free agent and be able to go wherever you want to. You're actually then rewarded, and the team is actually hurt if you get caught in a situation like that. Yes, he did. I believe the same thing, Bill, and I believe they should be stronger. I also believe that that you should certainly lose the money. And you know what's not thought about is all of these guys that have taken performance-enhancing drugs. How about all the guys that they beat out for jobs and left in the minor leagues that might never get a shot at the major leagues because they were beaten out by guys who are artificially doing something that you guys and Hawk and myself did without taking what the guys have taken over the last, I don't know how many years. Frank, in your eyes, because there's no doubt, and even though it makes you antsy or itchy, as Bill said, you're going to be elected to the Hall of Fame. When you see some of these other guys that you know did not do it the right way, does it anger you at all? There's no doubt, and I'll tell you one thing.
I used to tell Hurt all the time, I like you better when you got an edge, buddy.
And I will say one thing. I applaud Chuck for not taking PEDs to defeat Sarah when they went head-to-head. Chuck, I mean, she humiliated you, but you took it like a man.
They wouldn't have helped him.
They wouldn't. And you were tested. You came up clean, and I respect that.
Well, you knew they wouldn't help our Chuck.
Don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to use you the
hang
rest
around
of the game
for another 3 or 4 innings here. We're going to have to make this a nightly occurrence. Okay. All right.
Okay, guys. Thanks.
Well, I'll tell you, Frank, though, you know how much I love him. He's the greatest hitter this franchise has ever had. And he did it clean.
Yep.
He did it clean. As there's out number 2. But, and, you know, it hurt Frank. It did. It took one MVP away from him, you know.
Yeah.
When he should have had that MVP. And
well, he wasn't the Lone Ranger, because there's been a lot of guys that have been beaten out of, especially home run championships, RBI championships, MVPs, Cy Young awards.
Pitching.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it encompasses every aspect of the game and has for quite some time.
Yeah. Well, I told you before we started this thing, I'm just tired of talking about it. You know, I hope that I echo Bill's sentiments exactly. You know, let's just get it over with so we can go ahead and play the ball game.
Well, on the bright side, I mean, we're 2 outs into this inning already.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the other side of that page, too, baseball is making strides that really is us in the gap. So Perez going to knock in another run. And now they can't get it back in. He's being waved around, and he's going to score. So it's just been a comedy of errors for the first part of the 2013 season.
Well, that's probably going to go as a triple, I would assume, and yet another error So Perez will have driven in his second run. It is a triple. It is a run batted in. It is E7. And this one keeps getting worse.
You got to be bleeping me. Six, 5-0 for them. No runs, 3 hits, and 4 errors for us.
Perez has got some speed. Now he's thinking probably 3. But he was not thinking about scoring. But Tom Brookins says he can't pick it up, so go get him.
That's it, deep in the center field. But it's caught. Nice play by Diaza. They come up with 3 more, and they lead us 6-0. Cellular Field. Upgrade your seats directly from your mobile device through MLB's At the Ballpark app, available as a free download for iPhone and Android. Upgrading your seats is fast, simple, and fun. Just hit the upgrade button when you get to the ballpark and enjoy the game from the comfort of your new seats. And right here, it's 6-0 Bad Guys. Ramirez, Rios, and Dunn. Alexei has gone out to third. A little soft line drive, and then he lined out hard to center. But to finish up my point, both thing is that baseball has been more aggressive in getting this situation resolved than any other sport.
There's no doubt. I mean, football just now is trying to get to the point where they're testing for human growth hormone. They're telling players to expect blood tests this coming year.
Breaking ball strike.
But baseball has gone after it, and I'll tell you who some of the loudest voices are. They're the players that are clean, that are tired of having a decent year, and everybody looking at them saying, well, you have to be on something. So the players that are clean are telling the Players Association, don't back these guys. And that's been one of the big factors here.
2 balls, 2 strikes. If you're just tuning in, they scored 3 in the 4th. 2 of them unearned. They just scored 3 in the top half of this inning. And 1 of them unearned. Last night, we got beat 7-3. Scherzer went 8 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. Chris Sale went 8 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. So we gave them 5 unearned runs last night.
Been a total of 7 errors. We're not even 2/3 of the way through this one. That's in the last 2 nights.
To ask the softball for out number 1.
Head to head, they went last night. 2 of the best in baseball. Max Scherzer came out on top, running his record of 14-1, despite the fact that Chris Sale at 6-9 has a better earned run average for the year than does Max.
Here's Alex.
Of course, there is one more factor there, and that is that the Tigers have provided Max Scherzer with 7 runs per game.
That'll work.
As support behind it.
That'll work.
I mean, he's pitched great.
Oh, he's
no doubt about it. But that's a lot of support.
Well, he and Chris are arguably the 2 best pitchers in the American League.
And on any given night, you can throw Matt Moore in there because he's having a remarkable season at 14-3. Young left-hander from Tampa Bay has been just terrific.
Well, he and Chris, for sure, are the 2 best young left-handers in this league.
Yes, sir.
But Max is awesome. That changeup has just made him a great pitcher.
Justin Verlander with all the awards you would want, and the man sitting next to him, a legitimate candidate for certainly the Cy Young Award, and who knows about the MVP, but I think his teammate's going to get that.
Two down.
Pretty good numbers for Rick Porcello so far. When you let a sinker baller off the hook early, before that ball has a chance to sink, then it does, and you wind up hitting the ball on the ground an awful lot. And that's what's happened tonight.
As we mentioned last evening, coming out of spring training, we both agreed that the Tigers probably have the best 5-man rotation in baseball, and the bullpen was going to be their Achilles heel, and it still could be.
Yeah. Well, we're facing their 5th tonight, and if Rick Porcello is your 5th, you're doing pretty well.
Yeah. We got Sanchez tomorrow night, and then Verlander on Thursday. They're going to be facing Danks and Jake, so they got their work cut out for them as well. I thought you hit on it early, though. Back in the 4th inning. The thing that, to me, that got Hector in trouble tonight was his pace.
Yep. Slowed it way down, and you lose your rhythm, you lose everything.
There's the strike. Adam has walked and nubbed one right off the end of the bat back to Porcello. One, 2, 3 inning, and we're into the 7th. back on purchases in categories that you choose with the U.S. Bank Cash Plus Visa Signature Card. Get more cash back when you earn up to 5% back on purchases you choose in categories you choose. Apply today at any U.S. Bank branch.
Dylan Axelrod comes into the game. And Dylan was a starter. Now with Jake moving into the rotation, he's moved to the bullpen. 121 hits in 98 innings. It's a pretty big number. 18 home runs. That was a problem. And opponents hitting .303. First time he'll work out of the bullpen. And certainly Don Cooper would love to see him go the final 3 and keep them out of the bullpen for the rest of the game.
Well, Hector, control tonight was off. Last time out against Philly, he was just awesome. Working, getting it and throwing it, getting it and throwing it. Tonight giving up to 6 runs, only 3 earned.
It wasn't one of his better nights, and yet.
Exactly.
If you just go with earned runs, it could be construed a quality start.
Yeah, he's got the talent. There's no question about that. But I think he'll learn that those 5 walks, you know, when he's not throwing strikes, it's usually because of the fact that there's a base hit by Hunter up the middle, that he's just lost his rhythm.
Yep. I think that's where continued work, if it's going to be Josh or Tyler, whoever is catching at the time, has got to get him in that rhythm and try to keep him there.
Well, here's Andy Dirks hitting for Tuiasosopo. Looking for it, got it, and couldn't do anything with it. Houston has tied up Oakland at 2, bottom of the 6th. Down at Minute Maid. Texas now, they were trailing 3-0. Texas leading 4-3. That game on the top of the 7th in Arlington. There's a strike. Boston leading Tampa Bay 6-2. In the top of the 9th at Fenway.
How about that Dodger game with Toronto? Toronto was killing them.
Wow. Yeah. Dodgers on a roll. No question.
Well, the Dodgers were down 8-3. They've come back to take a 10-8 lead. They're trying to win their 5th in a row, their 9th of the last 11. They already lead Arizona by a half game, and they've come from a long way back.
Puig 2 for 3 in that game with 2 runs scored. Hitting at .369. Gonzalez tonight 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. Ethier 2 for 4, 3 RBIs. Mark Ellis 2 for 5, 3 RBIs. Well, I really enjoyed that little discussion we had with the guys back in the studio, and I hope certainly that's the last time we have to talk about that particular subject. But I'd like to have more of that we had with them.
Yeah, the interaction was good. It was fun. It was something that was different. And we'll see if we can get that together again. But I agree with you. One way or the other, they ought to get this out, get it in the open, get it over with, and make it a chapter in the game that hopefully will be done with forever.
Dirks fouls that one back. Had a pretty good pass at it. They're underway in Seattle, Cleveland. hitting in the top of the first, leading 1-0. Bottom of the seventh in Kansas City. Royals still leading Baltimore 3-1. Minnesota hitting in the top of the first at the Big A. There he goes.
Well, that Pittsburgh win, Washington continues their losing ways, and they have really struggled. That Washington team falling further and further back. They lost their 5th in a row. They're 2-9 in the last 11.
Well, it just goes to show you about injuries and chemistry. Last year they had very few injuries. And there's a base hit by Dirks. So runners at the corners, nobody out. Had a great chemistry. Not too many injuries this year. We had a ton of injuries. The chemistry's been bad.
I mean, that's the ebbs and flows of the game. But in that game, the big news out of Pittsburgh is that their closer, Jason Grilli, who at the age of 36 took over as a full-time closer this year, having just a remarkable season. He was put on the disabled list. He has some forearm issues. This is the first year he ever tried to close. It's a very tough job to do. And Jason Grilli hopefully will come back and assume the role that he had taken over and done a great job of.
Well, I don't know what the status of their rest of that bullpen are at AAA is, but if it's not real good, they're going to have to make a deal.
Well, I think they're going to have to make a deal or two anyway.
But they might be having to center more on a closer as much as a starter.
We talked earlier about Dustin Pedroia, a well-deserved 7-year contract extension, making $100 million, which for all of the people out there, let you know that you don't have to be a giant to play this game. It's one of the few games where you can be 5'6" and 175 pounds and still deserve every cent of that money that he's gotten. And of course, Jason Grilli disabled.
As they get Prince. 1 out.
Curveball down and in, out of the zone, and a nice block by Josh Fegler.
So here's Victor. Victor, first time up, leading off the second inning, just killed one into left center, deep left center field. Last night it had been way out of here, but that wind knocked it down, and it was caught. He doubled in the 4th inning and then struck out last inning. So he's 1 for 3 tonight, puts him at 5 for 8 so far in the series.
In the last 21, Victor's hitting everything in sight. And we can attest to a whole lot of that because we haven't seen him very much, but in the 5 games we've seen him, he's been even better than that.
Six, 7-0 for the Tigers. 0-3 in a 4 spot. 4 errors for us. Caught and double play. Another square up. He barreled it up again. Meanwhile, it's a Hank Wolfram 7th inning stretch. We trail it big.
to left field.
Paulie, Keppinger, Gillespie. Paulie has walked and gone out to center. Takes first pitch strike. Nats beat the Braves 4-1 at Citi Field. Puts a changeup on him right there. How about that Cole from Pittsburgh? 5-3, 3-5-1.
First player picked in the country. He's got a huge fastball. Garrett Cole out of UCLA. Very promising youngster. Pittsburgh's got a pretty deep system, and they will be looking for some players.
Well, they sure have had some high draft picks for a long time.
They have that. Andrew McCutchen has become just an out-and-out star. Starling Marte, another terrific player for them.
St. Louis with a 1.5 game lead over the Buccos, now make it a 1 game lead, but St. Louis now leading Philly 4-1, bottom of the 7th. So Dodgers, as we speak, hitting in the game's in the bottom of the 9th now in Toronto. Dodgers leading, as Steve told you, 10-8. That ball hit hard, but it's another hang wolfing for Paulie. He swung the bat good last evening. Coming up empty on that one.
This is going to be a big week for Philadelphia because they're right on the cusp, even though they are second behind Atlanta, 7 games out. If they have a bad week, one of the guys they'll look to move is Chase Utley. And he's a guy that a lot of teams would covet. He's going to be a free agent. He's a tremendous offensive second baseman and a left-hand hitter.
Doria is there. 2 down. Baseball is a day-to-day game. It always has been and always will be. I'm not going to mention the player's name that we had, but 2 years ago we were on the cusp.
Tough place, tough decision for general managers.
You better believe it's the toughest place to be. And we had an impending trade in the works, and we were playing these same guys right here, Detroit. And if we won the game, we would go to, I believe it was 4.5 back. And if we lost the game, obviously it'd been 6.5 back. Well, we won the game. Gavin Floyd beat them. And now we became buyers.
Didn't make the deal.
Right. And it didn't work out.
But it's a tough situation for Ruben Amaro, who's a general manager in Philadelphia, because they're drawing, and we were there. I mean, you could see they were drawing 38 some odd thousand fans per game. And if you unload and let those fans know that you're going into a rebuilding mode around Dominic Brown, well, a lot of those folks might choose not to show up, which is going to cost the team a whole lot of money. Yet if you don't and you lose these guys to free agency and they walk out the door and you get nothing, that doesn't help the ball club either. So it's a precarious situation for every general manager who's sitting there like Philadelphia, not really knowing if they're in it or out of it, depending on what happens in the next 5 to 6 days.
Well, they're averaging almost 39,000 a game.
Yeah, I mean, they've been terrific. They've been supporting that team, but the team is just not doing it.
Well, let's take our ball club. Let's say we make a couple deals. I don't think any question we're sellers. So let's say we make a couple deals. Our fans will understand. Our core fans will understand what we're doing.
Yep.
If we're going to make a couple deals, hopefully get some young players in here to go with a couple of good young prospects that we've got. We got another right-handed pitcher coming in, Eric Johnson. He's going to get a chance to be a real good one. But there's a second hit by Gillespie. But if you wanted to say, hypothetically, if you wanted to say we make a couple of deals, start retooling for 2015, our fans will understand that.
Well, I think it's
because we don't have that far to go.
No,
it's because of the pitching staff.
You have to do that. And with the 4 left-handers in the staff all throwing the ball as well as they've thrown it, that's a pretty good starting spot. And depending on who's left from your bullpen.
There was soft to Chopper. And that'll do it. We're into the 8th. It is still 6-0.
We head into the top of the 8th inning. It's all Tigers. See, the big 4, not in the hit column, the big 4 in the error column has been the recurring theme of this series, especially. Been a big factor all year, but especially in these 2 games. You're playing a team that is leading the division, a team as good as Detroit, and giving him 4 and sometimes 5 outs in an inning. Pretty tough to beat this team that way.
Here's Peralta. Johnny is 2 for 3 with a homer and 2 RBIs. The ball hit into right field. 1 pitch, 1 out. Also a reminder, Friday, July 26th, come see our Sox take on Kansas City at 7:10. All fans are invited to stay for a post-game fireworks show presented by Palmer House Hilton. Palmer House Hilton, the official Sox Fest hotel of our White Sox. So, WhiteSox.com or 866-SOX-GAME. Alex Avila, 0 for 1 with a couple of walks and a run scored. Outfield straight up, spread out. That equidistant. looked like on that swing that something is not right with Alex.
No, he was very frustrated. Obviously hitting in the low 180s. When he is right, and we've seen him right, we've seen him very good. He's driving the ball over the shortstop's head or deep into left center field.
Over the left center field wall.
Yeah, these days, been a whole lot of difference for him.
It's not always the case, but as a rule, when a young guy, and he's a young guy, top of foul, when they come out and have a good year, and then the second year they call it the sophomore jinx, and the way that is caused many times, and the majority of times, is that first of all in their first season they're feeling their way around, seeing what he can do, can't do, in their opinions.
Yeah, pitchers don't really know you all that well.
Right. Breaking ball just misses. But if he has a good year, all of a sudden now the reason he starts going to that what they call a sophomore jinx or a slump, even after 2 or 3 years, they start pitching him inside more, getting him in, look inside more. So all of a sudden now that plate was not as wide to the pitcher as it was, and it becomes a little shorter for the hitter. Instead of hitting to a 17-inch plate, he begins hitting to a 11 or 12-inch plate, and then it goes down to an 8-inch plate the more he looks inside. It's that old saying by Al Kaline, show me the guy can't be jammed and I'll show you a bad hitter.
Alex is having some problems on the inner portion of the plate, not necessarily all that inside, but the inner third. If he can't get to that one, then he's going to have even more problems. Now Dylan has thrown him away with a couple of pitches. When he's gone inside, Vila has not been able to get the head of the bat out.
And that's what happens a lot of times when something's wrong with him. I really believe he's got a hurt someplace. The way he swung the bat on the first pitch.
Well, we have seen him beaten up awfully badly, taking a beating behind the
last year
plate.
he took an unbelievable beating every game, it seemed like, against us. But when you start looking inside, believe me, I lived 9 years looking inside. You get in between a lot, and that's the worst place a hitter can get, is in between. You got to make a commitment, and if you can't make that commitment, you're not going to come out of it. Here's Kelly, 2 walks and a looper to Alexei. Nice inning for Dylan. Pitched out of a big jam. First and third, nobody out last inning. 1, 2, 3 this inning, and we'll go to the bottom of the 8th.
and it came early in the first inning with the bases loaded and a chance to break through against Rick Porcello. He throws a sinker, and it's a little 5-4 force out and out of the first inning. First 3 innings were scoreless, and then the Tigers started to pour it on. So Al Albuquerque comes into this one. He's in relief of Porcello. He's 1-2, ERA just under 5. Out for the 28th time. Porcello was awfully tough in 7 innings. No runs on 4 hits.
Well, let's give him a finish, boys. 25,919. So let's give him something to enjoy. Nice finish. Josh 0 for 2. Pitcher's pitch and couldn't lay off of it. Little pop up. Perez. And you can join our stops in honoring the Chicago Area Police and Fire Departments Wednesday, August 7th is Police and Fire Night presented by UL. Also, the first 20,000 fans receive a 1983 White Sox tailgate flag. So, WhiteSox.com or 866-SOX game for tickets. Piazza takes strike 1. He's 1 for 3. Had a bunt single and then promptly got picked off first. And count 0-2. The ball, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th. And that's yanked foul. And that's a souvenir. Get yourself a knock right here, Alejandro. Little flipper into left field. Dirk's got a come on. He will. Two down.
Tomorrow, division rivals are back in action on Comcast Sportsnet. Tune in as John Dank squares off with the Tigers' Anibal Sanchez on the south side. Don't miss White Sox Tigers tomorrow night at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Here's Alexei. He's 0 for 3. Outfield spread out, almost straight up, slide maybe a slight to the right.
Albuquerque has not had a good year. However, he does have very good stuff.
Couldn't get that one.
Those last two sliders, there's not a whole lot of people going to get them. Al is running out of back. The very long last name.
Great baseball name. Albuquerque. Got him. He knew it. 1, 2, 3 inning, and we're into the ninth.
Has 2 strikeouts. We're going to show you 50% of them. First pitch fastball to the big man, Prince Fielder. Second pitch fastball, and then the off-speed pitch and the whip. The fielder goes down on strikes. That coming in the 7th.
Hernan Perez. 1 for 2, a sacrifice fly, an RBI triple. And now, off the end of the bat, a single. So good speed aboard.
Big night for Perez.
Yeah, it is.
A couple of runs batted in. And a couple of hits for a guy known as a defensive wizard, and he's shown us that tonight. He's also swung the bat very well. That triple was crushed into the alley.
First pitch strike. Oh, yeah. Oh. Yes, Conroy wanted to come up with that right arm right there and backed off. He's called a good game tonight. Two and one. Can of corn. So 1 out. A reminder, MLB.com At Bat is celebrating 5 years as your #1 mobile app for live baseball. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers White Sox baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, breaking news, and video. So download At Bat now on the Apple App Store, Google Play, Kindle App Store, BlackBerry World, or text At Bat to 31826. Torrey Hunter, 1 for 3. Yankees have come back to take a 5-4 lead over Texas. They're hitting in the top of the 9th.
Brent Lillibridge has found a way to get back in the major league. He's playing with the Yankees.
Yes, he is. He scored 2 in the 9th off Joe Nathan, still hitting. Checks it up. Up and in. And that's going to be a souvenir.
Benoit and Putkonen losing in the pen.
He got a good pitch to hit. He's really upset with himself, as he should be. Watch out, Jeff. 2 now. Got a hanger right there and couldn't do anything with it.
This one came rolling up and stayed right in the middle of the plate. And he popped it straight up in the air. Don't get a chance to see too many of those. And when you see one, expect to hit it a bit harder than that.
Here's Dirks. At his first at bat, 7th inning, and single. And pops that one up. So nice job by Dillon. As we go to the bottom of the 9th, Rios done. Canerco, and let's give him a finish.
Park Nissan. Chuck Garfine, Bill Melton, a Big Hurt. Frank Thomas bring you their take on tonight's division battle. Don't miss the White Sox postgame live tonight right after the game on Comcast Sportsnet.
So here we go, boys. Alex tonight, 1 for 3. And Don Kelly made a real nice layout to take another base hit away from him. Count evens at 1.
That was a pretty good pitch.
Two and 1. 6 runs, 8 hits, no errors for them. No runs, 4 hits, and no errors for us. If you're just tuning in, pitchers of record are the starters, Porcello and Santiago. Hector went 6 innings, giving up 6 runs, only 3 earned. 4 hits, but 5 walks. Had 6 strikeouts.
And for the first time out since July 10th, Dylan Axelrod threw the ball very well. 3 hits, but no runs in 3 innings.
And there's ball 4. So, leadoff walk, and here comes Adam, who has walked. He's 0 for 2. Let's touch him up right here, Biggin. Good pitch. Down and in. Almost a blueprint. Took that one. And the count 2 and 1. Tigers took the opener yesterday 7-3. We gave 5 unearned runs. Give him 3 more tonight. That one at 85 and had him way off balance. Count goes full. All 4 base hit.
Pinocchio in the on-deck circle has hit the ball hard tonight with nothing to show for it.
And there is back-to-back. Back-to-back walks.
And for Albuquerque, he was thrown 26 in the 3rd innings. He's walked 24. So Jim Leland did not want to go to the bullpen again, but he's going to have to. So as Albuquerque walks out, we'll step out and be back after these messages. by GMC. On the show, we'll get you up to date on everything Bears, as there's one more day until camp opens. Plus, we keep an eye on MLB buyers and sellers. Catch all that and more on Sportsnet Central tonight after postgame live, only on Comcast Sportsnet. And we've got Joaquin Benoit is our Honda call to the pen. Benoit on for the 40th time. He's 2-0, the ERA of fine 160. 9 for 9 in save opportunities. This not one of them. But he was their premier setup man until forced to close. He's done a very good job of it. But odds are overwhelming. If they can acquire a closer, they would love to put Benoit back in his normal setup role.
Well, if they do, they're going to win the division. If they can get to that point.
Make them a lot stronger.
Oh.
A lot stronger.
With those starters they've got, if they can have Benoit as the setup guy, they're probably going to win it. Pauly takes first pitch strike. Pauly is 4 for 21 lifetime against Benoit. Pauly tonight 0 for 2, and as Steve told you, has swung the bat well. Come up empty. Count evens at 1. Make your plans to be with us tomorrow night. Johnny Danks against Annabelle Sanchez. If you can't, that game was right here on Comcast Sportsnet. On Thursday afternoon in the finale, Jake Peavy against Justin Verlander. As there is base hit down the right field corner. Beautiful piece of woodwork. Now they're going to wave at him around. Attaboy, Pauly. There's a 6-2 ball game.
RBI's 31 and 32. He's been going to right field all night, and this time on a pitch that's out of the strike zone, he delivers. The ball gets hung up, and that's a thing that allowed Dunn to chug all the way around and score.
Well, that's good. He swung the bat good last night. He's swinging the bat good tonight. He said he feels real good.
Casper Wells comes on to pinch run.
So here's Cappinger. Don't stop now, boys. That's into short center field, but Austin Jackson, who can cover a whole bunch of ground, is there. So Terry Hanley, Mike Williams, Eric Alders, Roger Clare's pick to click, Canerco knocks in 41 and 42. Gillespie, he's 2 for 3. 6-8 and 0 for them. 2-5 and 4 for us. Way out in front. Knock him in. Another one way out in front. Could not pick it up. 2 down. You know, it's woulda, coulda, shoulda. What if? Last night, gave him 500 runs. If we don't do that, we win it 3-2. Tonight, gave him 3. We'd be trailing 3-2.
Just pick up the baseball.
Well, again, as we were talking about earlier, about as far as retooling this ball club a little bit, we don't have that far to go because of the pitching staff. Usually when you talk about a team retooling, pitching staff is the first thing you got to go. That's not the case with us. Pank fouls it back. Good hack. Yeah, when you got good young pitchers like we have, and who got a wealth of experience last year in that pennant race, and they have performed this year.
Well, I would assume, assuming that Rick can do, and that's Rick Hahn, the general manager, can do what he'd like to do. You probably got some work to do revamping your bullpen and possibly one starting spot.
And when that ball comes down, this ball game will be over. But Konerko knocks in a pair. And Hector Santiago giving up 6 runs, only 3 earned tonight. But I'll tell you, once he establishes, it's like a hitter establishing his strike zone. Once he establishes his rhythm, boy, he's going to be a good one.
Well, I think that's what Don Cooper has to work with him on, and not getting frustrated when the plays are not made behind him. But the 5 walks, you can't survive against a good team like that.
All right, let's check out our GMC player of the game. It is the 24-year-old right-hander Rick Porcello, running his record to 7-6. Our GMC player of the game. So for my partner Steve Stone, our director Jim Angio, our producer Mike Leary, our associate producer Dave Ross, our technical manager Mark Harper, the executive producer Jim Cornell Jr., also for the mayor Angel Group, and for Mike Mayer, Frank D'Amato, Dennis Wood, Doug Bullard. This is The Hawk. So long, everybody. Coming up next, the Orland Park Nissan Show with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.